Feminist leader, prominent journalist, and social political activist Gloria Steinem is this year's honoree for Eleanor Roosevelt's Global Women's Rights Award by Feminist Majority. The occasion provides an opportunity for this short interview. Gloria, you have been in forefront of feminist movement since 1960s. Today, where do you see the barriers?
Well, there are barriers everywhere, because women are still the primary victims of violence. Women still make about 60-some cents on the dollar that men make, and women also have two jobs, one looking after children and families, and also in the paid labor force. At least most women have that. Now, it's a question of degree. Obviously, women in other countries suffer those issues much more, but they are very much present here too. So I think when we unite on them, we can support each other.
What role feminist majority and a feminist like you could play in terms of lending support to women in Middle East?
Well, at a minimum, I hope that we have served and can serve to highlight cases of great injustice and bring world media attention so that it's possible sometimes to ensure the safety of a particular woman who might not otherwise be safe. And also we pressure to rate governments according to their treatment, their equal treatment of women. But I think it's up to the women in another country to tell us what is helpful. It's not up to us to interfere or to imagine we know what is helpful, but rather to respond.
How do you perceive Islamic feminism?
Again, I think that's up to the individual. I can only speak for myself. And for myself, I could not be a monotheist, because it seems to me that a religion in which God looks suspiciously like the ruling class is difficult for me. It seems to me God is in everything. God is in nature and flowers and animals and human beings. God is in everything. So the earlier forms of spirituality seem to me much more helpful and real, but I respect all the women and feminist men inside monotheistic religions that we're trying to make them more democratic from inside.
There is so much talk about cultural relativity, and I do like to emphasize that. But where do you think we should draw the line when it comes to women?
Again, I think the word culture is just another word for politics when it comes to women. It's just a way of saying you can't change women's position, and of course you can. Culture changes. I'm here to support the self-authority and empowerment of other women in the ways they want me to. It's not up to me to decide what they should do.
Last week, Iran gained a seat in UN Commission for Status of Women. How do you feel about it, and what do you think would be the consequences?
Well, I'm not sure what the consequences will be, but it does seem a lot like putting China on the Human Rights Committee. I hope that it makes that particular member and the Iranian government and the Chinese government, I hope it makes them conscious of women's rights and individual human rights, more conscious.
The women movement in Iran is very complex. In one end, we have secularists who are fighting for equal rights. In another, extreme conservatives, while breaking ground in their own circle, but do not support, or even I'm not sure if they could tolerate equal rights. In such a complex context, how could women movement move forward?
In my experience, the point is to support each other. So, for instance, I'm a pacifist, but I support women who are trying to get equality inside the military. I am probably a pagan in the sense, pagan just means of nature. in my own sense of spirituality, but I support the Catholic nuns who are striving to have better treatment and more equality. And so, I think we can support each other in our different choices.
You have years of experience with success. So what advice do you have to give to us, to Iranian women who are trying to support other Iranian women, specifically the ones inside the country?
Well, I think telling the true stories of individual women in and out of the country is very important. We learn through stories. Our minds are organized by narrative and by imagery. So we become visible. We can help to make women visible. And ourselves, too, by telling our stories. Invisibility is the greatest punishment.